Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mediumship by Picasso. My name is Picasso Roberts, and as I stated last week, we have something very cool going on here. You can see on the screen, there's more than one of us peeps on. So I'm glad to introduce to you today in my interview series, this is Miss Tawney Lewis. Say hello, Miss Tawney.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here.
I've asked Tawney to join us today. She is a psychic medium. Actually, let me go down the list, Tawney, because we had our little chat earlier, but you've been really busy. What I'd like to do is make sure people understand that you are a certified psychic medium.
Yes.
And not only that, you're a certified paranormal investigator.
Yes.
That is fascinating. And it's fascinating to me because I live in the oldest European settled town in America.
Really? I want to go. Now I'm going.
We'll chat.
Yeah.
And then you're also a certified Reiki master?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. And you're also a certified master teacher with the Lisa Williams School. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you do aura readings.
Yep.
And past life readings and oracle card readings.
Yeah, all
right?
that.
Wow, that's a lot, and that's a whole lot. And then looking at, so I have to do a little digging when I interview somebody. I want to know a little bit where I want to go with questions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you recently, if I'm right, taught at Lilydale up in New York. You want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was amazing. So I had everything, we set all this up last year. It was almost like a year process of just, getting accepted into Lilydale and creating the class. And yeah, August 20th, I was there in Lilydale. I had two courses, actually. I had a day course that was about 7 hours long. That one was called Beyond the Veil, Paranormal Investigations 101. That class, very successful. And not only was it myself, I had other speakers there. I had Lisa Williams. She came at about later in the day and talked to everybody, just kind of how to handle the darker side of the investigations. Mm-hmm. It was just an amazing day. And then the nighttime event, oh my gosh, I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it. I had assumed I'd have 10, 20 people. There were 80 people that showed up for the nighttime event. And it wasn't, I think the reason was it wasn't a walking tour. It was actually an investigation. And that's how it was advertised. And everyone was excited and they all showed up. And, I had Tamarishka Kerman help me and Leanne McDonald, and then Lisa Williams came as well. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And it went very, very well. And we got a lot of activity that night. So I'm looking forward to next summer because I would love to go back to Lilydale and maybe do not just one night of investigations, maybe 2 to 3. But yeah, it was awesome.
It's a very active area, that whole area. I mean, anything up there in upstate New York or that whole area was settled first. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of energy out there.
A ton. There was just, and it felt good too, just doing the investigations. It didn't feel like anything weird or dark or malicious. It was just energy spirits that wanted to communicate with us. And what I wanted was for those that signed up to have an experience. And I do feel like we were successful on that because I could hear oh my gosh, oh what? Oh my goodness. So I definitely achieved that. It was great.
That is just awesome. So that's really exciting. I have goosebumps. That's just that's exciting that you had that many people and everybody got what they needed and learned something, and spirit got to pipe up, and I'm sure, and that is just fascinating. Now you being a psychic medium doing the paranormal investigations, do you have to turn the mediumship off or do you leave it on? How do you work that?
So the majority of mediums that do paranormal investigations, they use themselves as that tool, which is totally fine. And it absolutely makes sense, where they'll walk into a property and they're like, okay, where am I guided? What do I feel is here? Totally fine. However, I like to advertise myself first as that paranormal investigator, then the medium second, only because of my training. So I've been doing the paranormal investigations for a little over 12 years now. I actually didn't find out I had gifts until like 6 years ago. And so I'm like, okay. And so I've been already trained in investigations. And then so now what I do is I mix it up. I actually want to do the research and investigate and see what's going on with the tools. There's plenty of those tools to use, to take notes on what I feel like I'm getting. I try to mix it up. And I think it's so cool because like I did an investigation last weekend where we set up the tools, we set up the equipment. I said, hey, give me about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just going to walk around the property and just see if I get anything. Jotted it down, didn't walk in like, oh, this is what I feel. No, I jotted it down almost like my intuition and my notes were a part of the tools. And then went over with the owner, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I got. Does this correlate with whatever you've been dealing with? Yes. Cool. Okay, now let's start the equipment. So I would just say I mix it up, and it feels really good to be able to utilize that gift when I need to and not have to utilize it the entire investigation, because investigations can go anywhere from, oh my gosh, 6 to 10 hours. It just depends on where you are. And so can you imagine being that open medium for 6 to 10 hours? No, it's not fun.
No, not even no, but hell no.
Yeah, see, exactly.
No. Now, the tools, somebody just introduced to me something called Ghost Science M3. It's an app. Have you heard of that or used that?
Okay, that particular app, no. However, there are so many apps. So when I first started this, that's all I used. It was like app download, app download, app download. And I'm sorry, I'm paused because I was thinking about all the different apps they have that can do anything. They'll spit out words, they'll spit out images, it'll show you like lights on the app, weird different things. But yeah, there's a ton of them. And as a matter of fact, you brought that up. When we did the investigation in Lilydale, I actually had everybody download an app. I said, we were going to be doing investigations, download this app, download this app. There were too many we threw out there, but they were all free apps. So
yeah. Now I downloaded the Ghost Science M3 because I've been studying to take a test to be a tour guide around town.
Oh, sweet.
You feel this old town of St. Augustine, you feel so much. There's so much.
Wow.
I'm cautious about what I step into. And so somebody told me about this Ghost Science M3 and they had it on one of the tours. A customer did. And I said, okay, well, that's fascinating. He actually got something on the screen. What do they call that? The SLS, I think it is, where it shows the energy of the being. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. So for about $10, I got it. And I was playing with it here. Now, look, I'm also a medium, right? So I'm used to talking to spirit all the time. Did you hear that?
I sure did. I sure did.
Don't get us. So I was sitting here one night and I'm like, I'll just play with this a little bit so I can figure out what's what on the app. And I don't know, I turned on something where it gave me the verbal and not just picking up the words written out, but it said it. And I was like, okay, creepy and not in my house. And I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, exactly. I would not recommend that in your house at all.
So if you people that are watching, go out and play amongst, but don't do it in your house. Nope. It felt so creepy. And I'm like, but don't go to fear because, you don't want to ever do that because that just brings in more of that fear energy. And then I laughed at myself. I'm like, you dork. So keep it outside. Play with your toys outside.
Strongly agree.
Yeah. So, but it's very, very interesting what's available now because everything is energy, right?
Yeah.
So spirit's energy, everything's energy. So it's very interesting how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
As far as your paranormal investigations, where it looks like you're in Southern California, right?
Yes, in Hollywood. Yeah.
You're in Hollywood.
Hollywood sign is right there. I'm staring at it right now.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. It's my home state, but I was a little bit farther north than you. So
Oh, sweet. Okay. What city?
Chico, I'm up
Okay.
there
Yeah, I know
north of
exactly what I do.
Sacramento. Yeah. Out of all of the investigations that you've done in and around your area, there's like Whaley House, the Star of India, there are a bunch. What do you find was the most intriguing or the most interesting?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Let me scan this. There's quite a few. I do mention this a lot in interviews, but the one in Lake Arrowhead, it's called Brackenfern Manor. And you can actually find it on YouTube. And not just with me, but like a lot of investigators, they like to go to Brackenfern Manor due to the history. Back in the, 1920s, 30s, celebrities would go up the mountain in Lake Arrowhead to get away from the paparazzi, to get away from Hollywood, to go up the mountain and to drink, smoke, gamble, have women, do whatever they could that was not legal at the time. And so there's a ton of energy at that particular place. And that particular manor you can stay overnight there. And I had to, and I have no idea what I was thinking, but I had to with a group of people. And, the reason I brought that one up is because across the street is a Tudor house, and it has a lot of, it was there during the Prohibition era. So if you go downstairs in the basement, there's a lot of old bottles still there from the 1920s and 30s. However, it is known to be a darker space there where people are like, I was hit, I was scratched, I growled at weird stuff. And I remember being down there with other people on a tour. And I said out loud, I said, listen, we will get out of your space in a few minutes. All we want is for you to show us that you are here. Could you please make this equipment go off for us? It immediately went off. I said, we are gone by. And it was I brought that up. I like to bring that one up because when people don't realize with investigations, you communicate with them like they were people, because guess what? They were, And so if you go in there demanding things and yelling and then show yourself, it's silly. They're going to react negatively. Whereas I talked to him, I said, listen, it's like me coming in your house. I'm like, Picasso, I know you don't know me, but I'll stay for 5 minutes. and you're like, okay, fine, 5 minutes. And he literally reacted that way, where he's like, okay, look, I'm here. The gadgets are going off. Can you leave now? I said, we are now leaving. Thank you so much. And so that one I say was pretty cool, just because I try to avoid the darker stuff. And that was the one time I had to deal with it. And that's the way I deal with it.
Yeah. Well, that makes total sense. Yeah. I don't like that darker stuff either. And do you find that where there's been more like trauma or tragedy, that it seems a little bit heavier, a little bit darker?
It can be. I've just, the experiences I've done, it just depends. For example, I'm just scanning one place. There was a place where it was a theater here in LA where someone was shot and murdered there. And you go in there and I wouldn't say it's darker. It's just, a medium will easily pick up on it. The energy felt fairly neutral, where we all knew like, okay, this happened here. This is what's going on. What's currently here? And nobody there felt anything dark, but there have been places where, this past weekend, the apartment we investigated did have some dark energy there. However, it was brought on by someone who used to own the property or someone who used to live there, and they like just stay there and terrorize all the tenants there. So I guess the answer to that is it just depends, but not in all cases.
Have they nothing better to do than terrorize?
I know, ridiculous. I'm like, really, dude, come on. So, but like you had said, as an investigator, one thing that stands out with me from everyone else is I actually try to avoid the darker things, because I feel like you set your intention. Like, why are you doing this? Me, I do it because I'm very curious. I'm nosy. I love history. I love hearing their stories about who they were from the past. But otherwise, that's really why I do it. And I like to bring their stories to life. But the darker, weird stuff, I'm like, I'm good. No, thank you. but I do know that as an investigator, I am going to encounter that. And if I encounter it, I can't run from it. I just have to figure out, like I did at Brackenfern, how am I going to approach it? And let's hope it works. So
yeah, I mean, that's about all you can do, you know.
exactly.
And I think that's highly astute, treating them just like you'd like to be treated.
Exactly.
It's the same thing, you
Yeah.
know. So for anybody who's watching, and you're interested in paranormal investigations, please understand that, you know, take it from that aspect, from, you know, like you said, it's like you going into somebody's house and, look, I'm just going to be here for a minute. Hang on. And come with good intention. And really,
Exactly.
everything is about intention, to be honest. That's
Absolutely
so important.
the key
Now,
word.
yeah. Now you're in Hollywood. Is that where you're born in?
Yeah, born in LA, raised here in LA County.
All right. Well, you didn't go far then.
Yeah.
You didn't go far from home.
No, I love LA. I did live in San Diego, which is about 2 hours south from LA. I lived there for a few years. It was okay, but sure enough, I came right back here. I love the energy of Hollywood and Los Angeles County.
It's interesting. I lived south for a little while and then it spat me out.
What part?
I was in San Gabriel. And
oh, I know exactly. Yeah. Like,
it was the first time I had experienced warnings on the radio about not going outside because the air quality was so bad.
Yeah.
So doing a little bit of reading on you, Tawney, what I read is about, I think you said you were about 10 years old when you had your first experience with spirit.
Yeah, so it's funny because, like I said, I've only been doing this for 6 years now. I didn't realize my whole life that I was a medium, you know. So yeah, we lived in this really nice large house when I was younger, and I was like, about 10, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I remember this like yesterday, and I looked and I saw a girl, like a blonde haired girl with braids, standing next to my sister, and I thought, nah. And I pulled the covers back over and something just said, look again. And that's how I knew it was real, because I looked again. She was still there. It's like, okay, I'm going to look one more time. And I did. And then she was still there and she started to fade away. And so I think she knew I was watching her. I don't know who that was to this day, but that's when I didn't tell anyone for a while. I told my sister maybe a year later. She's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, because you guys would have all thought I was loony. And she's like, no, I believe in that stuff. I would have loved for you to tell me, because now I want to know why she was standing next to her. It could have been a guy. Yeah, I'm not sure. But and then about 2 years later, I remember going into the bathroom to wash my hands, and then I saw something standing, like not standing, hovering over the tub, but it was white. It was like a white heavenly color. So I thought, now I know it wasn't anything dark, but I was like, oh my God, it's just like a figure. Like I could see a figure being made out, and I ran out of the bathroom. And so, and then, and within those years, I could see auras clearly. Like I would be able to just look at someone and be like, oh, they're purple. Oh, they're green. What it looked like to me was like energy, like over their body. And my brother and I would play games. I'd be like, get against the wall. Let me see what color you are today. Okay, you're green. Like that's how vivid they were. Then as I aged, I thought, you know what, if there's something weird going on with me, I don't know if I want it. And I prayed about it almost every day. Whatever this is, make it go away. And it did. I set that intention and I did not want it. And then it started to resurface about 20 years later. And so it started to resurface, and I just became very interested in like the paranormal and ghost shows and doing walking tours, ghost tours. And finally I joined the team. I was invited to join the team, and that's basically how I got back into that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, isn't it funny that life will take us when we're supposed to go to point A and we make a right turn and go to C, eventually we get to A no matter what. And
no matter what.
You can go direct when
Yeah.
you're shown that sign, or you can take the long way around, and you just
Mhm.
took the long way around. That's all.
Yeah. And it was fine. You know, it worked. You know, I was like, okay, it went away. Cool. I can be normal again. Yay. And then I'm at a point now where if you had told me 5 years ago that you're psychic, 6 years ago, you're a psychic medium, I'd be like, ha. Like, really? That's hilarious. I was open to being an intuitive. I did believe that because I would know little things, but I would have never, ever guessed there was mediumship involved. So it's very, very interesting that, like you said, I ended up where I was supposed to be.
When did the mediumship show its face, basically?
So I went to New Orleans, and see, I keep the years mixed up. I want to say 2017 with my sister, and I did a paranormal investigation tour. And I was with a group of investigators, and I'm just a spectator. And, you know, they were like, in this room, there is an old nun who passed away. She was in her 90s, and she's this, she's that. And I sat there and I was like, where are they getting this from? I don't think there, like, I was like, there's no nun in here. Where's this coming from? And I was like, I feel like there's a lady who's like 26 years old with brown hair, and she was a nurse, all just coming to me. And I didn't tell anyone this. I just kept it to myself.
Mhm.
Then during that same room, we were in a room. They were like, why are we not getting any activity? I said, put it in the bathroom. And they were like, oh, really? I said, yeah, just put it in there. And all the equipment went off in the bathroom. And they were like, how did you know? I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. Then at the end of that night, another team came in with us, and they said, hey, you guys, on the spirit scanner, we got all this information. We were in this room, and there was a lady in here. She said she was 25, so I was close. And she had brown hair, and that she was a nurse who used to work here. And I was like, okay, how did I know this? And again, I kept it to myself. And later that summer, I thought, you know what, let me explore my intuition. That was me keeping it safe. Let me just explore intuitive and intuition. And I started taking these classes. And one teacher, she said, I think you're a medium. And I was like, no, I'm just an intuitive. Don't know where you got that from. She's like, you just read that lady and she's crying because you got all the information right about her boyfriend. I was like, I don't know. She's crazy, whatever. And blew it off. Then I saw another teacher, and I gave a reading to somebody, and she said, Tawney, I think you got that information mediumistically. And I was like, and by that point, I was like, okay. So there's another teacher telling me the same thing. And so I talked to my best friend, and I said, listen, everyone is telling me I'm a medium. I don't know how I feel about it. I wanted to just learn how to be a psychic, and that's it. I just wanted to leave it at that. And he said, you know what? Are they confirming what you're getting? I said, yes. He said, as long as you are okay with it and you learn everything you can and you stay positive, love and light, he says, why not? And I was like, he's right. Okay. And I went full steam. Literally, I just started taking class after class after class after class for like 4 years straight, class, because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do this work, I knew what I was doing, that I knew what I was talking about. And if I was going to talk to other people about it, that I knew that I was telling them the right things, which is why I went so high when it came to the certification process. I just didn't want to be one of those people that are like, okay, I am a psychic medium, I know everything. No. So yeah, that's basically how it kind of came about.
Yeah, if anybody ever says that, I know everything, flip around and go the other direction.
Exactly.
And don't pull anything out of your pocket. Don't pay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. So we started in our mediumship right around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I didn't know.
Yeah, no idea.
I have no idea. I think it was about 2018. You were about
27. Yeah, out there. That was like when I was full steam. Yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, who knew?
Yeah, exactly.
Had I listened earlier, or had you listened earlier, imagine how much farther we would be.
God, I think about that sometimes. I do. I'm like, I wonder if I had started this 10 years ago, like what would have happened? But I believe the timing was right. You know, like there was a reason why they waited, and it's the way things worked out. And when I decided to go full steam, it was literally the same month, like 4 years before I graduated with certified master teacher. So it was all timed just perfectly. And yeah, it's just strange how spirit pushes you to where you're supposed to be.
It's beautiful. It's divine timing. And that's just really beautiful. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you. You did good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think that's just really awesome. And listen, for anybody who's watching and listening, it's a commitment. It's real commitment.
Yes. Yes,
And so
absolutely.
if you step into the circle of that, then know that it's a commitment,
Mhm.
and give a lot of respect to those men and women sitting in front of you, giving you your reads or standing on platform and giving you messages from your loved ones, because we've committed to doing that and honoring spirit and what they're here to help you understand. So I think it's important. Okay. So where do you pull your strength from? As a leader and a teacher like you are in the spiritual world, where do you pull that strength?
There's a few things. One, in my regular, just my career, my entire life, I've always been in business management. I've always been a manager. And so I know that I'm also like Aries. And so I've always had that natural, like the business sense, the leader. I've been very involved, like just very, I was always like that go-getter in my career. And I've been able to take those traits and put that into spirituality, to where I said, okay, I have to bring the confidence, I have to bring the organization, the dedication. Oh my gosh, you're so right. Like, if you're going to do this work, you need to really do it, and not like half it. It just doesn't work like that. Just a commitment, the dedication, the focus, the positive aspect. I always say the love and light. And then I am very much, and I don't meet as many psychic mediums that are so in tune with their spirit guides. I've been talking to them since 2011. And this was before I even knew I can do that. I think I'm trying to remember how I found out. I think I read about like what they were and how, and I was like, cool, I'm going to try this. And then I just started to intuitively communicate with them. And so to this day, I'm so in tune, and it's very important for me to be in tune because of the work I do with investigations. Because so I feel like I pull from them a lot. They help guide me. I know that they're not there to give me all the answers and tell me what to do, but the guidance is incredible, and it's so beautiful. And so I'd say so my life experience, my career experience, and then also my spirit guides. They're my everything.
Yeah, I get that too. Do you have one in particular that you lean on, like your master guide that you lean on?
Yeah, there's two. There's the master guide, female, and then the male that stands to my left. And they come in and they'll tell me if I'm freaking out about something. They'll help me to calm down. They'll guide me. Can I do this? No. Should you do this? Yes. Is so and so okay? Yeah. Like, literally, we'll get guidance. Again, I'm like, because when I was younger, I was like, do you need to give me all the answers? Well, you can't do that. Give me the answers. And now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And so it's about the guidance aspect and just letting me know that everything, I'm protected. That's all really that. And so, yeah.
Yeah, so often clients will, I'm sure you go through the same thing. And so often clients will be like, well, why don't they just tell me? Why don't they? Well, what are they waiting for? Why don't they just tell me what it is that I'm supposed to be doing? I don't understand.
I have an inside joke with a friend of mine. Like, if something goes wrong, I'm like, I'm mad at them right now. I'm not talking to them today. She's like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I'm mad. They know I'm mad, whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you, looking back in your childhood as a child, what did you want to be when you were a child?
I wanted to be a lawyer. What was I thinking? I'm really good at communication and trying to be fair with people. Like, I'm very fair. I'm very open-minded. Where there's, like, for example, my sister is very like, this is how things should be, and this is how I don't want to hear your opinion. I'm like, no, like, I welcome it. I'm not going to fight your opinion about anything. That's one thing I have to say I admire about myself, because over the last few years, there's so many people against this side and against that side and fighting and politics. I've never been that way. I'm just like, oh, that's what you believe? Cool, okay. It's awesome. That would be it.
Yeah, you knew you're strong. You're really a strong woman. So you knew as a child, that's your soul. Your soul just you knew that you were going to be strong enough to do just about anything. So that's awesome. So let me ask you, what brings you peace?
Wait a second, let me think about this. Ooh, okay. Can I say more than one?
You can.
Okay, one, taking a bath. I don't know why, it just calms me down. Two, Disneyland. And three, I found to when I'm around my family. I'm like, if literally I'm just, and it's not that we have to be doing anything. If I'm just in their presence, very peaceful. You know, that we could just be sitting around watching a movie. I'm just like, okay, I'm good. You know, so yeah, say those things.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Disneyland, really?
I love Disneyland. It's been a while. Oh my God, because of just the pandemic and what's been going on. I haven't been in a minute, but I love Disneyland. I do.
Okay, so what would you say to other women of color who haven't moved forward with their gifts, and what guidance would you give them? And I ask this, let me tell you, I ask this because you mentioned it in one of your interviews, and I also notice it in the industry and around. So there you are, not
No,
much diversity.
it's not. And I appreciate you saying that. There really isn't, you know, honestly, I've seen people of color, psychics, mediums. I have not seen any investigators. I have not seen any African-American female investigators. So what I would say is you won't move forward unless you trust yourself and believe in yourself and not hide. Because the reason that's important is because I was actually in hiding for a long time. I've been on social media for years. I've been in the Lisa Williams community for years. But to be honest, you know, when I got into master teacher, Lisa kind of was like pushing me, and I was like, I don't want to go. I was like, go, want the world to see you. And when I was done, I was like, okay, I'm confident. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. And once I put myself out there, oh my gosh, things just started to soar. Doors started to open up. And so it didn't happen until I actually really believed in myself and didn't give a crap what anybody else thought. My mom doesn't believe in any of this, but guess what? I don't care. I'm out here doing it, you know? So she's like, oh, I don't believe in it. I'm like, cool, that's fine. So whereas someone else might think, oh, this isn't normal in my community. Oh, this is weird. Oh, my mom doesn't believe in it. You know what? I'm just going to stay quiet. That was me, you know, 4 years. And now I'm like, I can give a crap, and it's working positively. So I would just say, don't worry about what anyone thinks of you. Really continue training to know what you're talking about, only because the hard truth is there is a camera always on me, meaning people are always looking at me or watching me because I am different. I understand and I know that I stand out like a sore thumb, but like I said a few minutes ago, I don't care. But I'm going to be the best representation of myself and of the community, and not even just that, of women, of a woman psychic, a female paranormal investigator.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And I hope that anybody that's listening, don't worry about what everybody else is. Don't worry about the color of their skin. Don't worry about where they came from. Don't worry about their heritage or any of that. Focus on you.
Yep.
You know, focus on you, because it's going to be source and you, source and you. And none of the rest of it, like you said, it just doesn't matter.
At all.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm happy. That's what's important. I was not before, because I was like, I know I have these gifts and I know I do this, but no one knows anything. And I don't advertise that I do investigations. And it's like, now I'm just like, hey, everyone, I do investigation. I teach. It's fun and it's cool. And so I feel like the most recent post I put is, I said, realizing that I'm finally in alignment with my path. And I figured that out, even though I've been in training, I figured that out this year.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It takes a minute sometimes, doesn't it?
It really does. Oh my God. I was like, what am I doing? What is happening?
There's a phenomenal movie, and I'm going to get the name wrong. It came to mind. I wanted to mention it. It's on Netflix, and it is, I think it's called In Our Mother's Gardens. And it is about African-American women and the ancestry and what their mothers taught them and what their grandmothers taught them, and that connection and that spiritual connection. And it's really quite beautiful. All right, so if you could go back and sit with your ancestors, what would you say?
Second, okay. I'm like, how far back are we talking? Okay,
We're far back.
ancestors. Ooh, I would say it would be a question. It would be a comment and be a question. It'd be say, I would say, thank you for all the lineage of energy. That's how I see it. The lineage of energy that you pass down, because I'm pretty sure that this is from somewhere, the gift, because my oldest sister is a denying medium, denying. And so I'm like, okay, it came from somewhere. So yeah, I would thank them for that. But I would also ask them, is there anything that they can show me to help when it comes to healing? Because I don't know, it would be nice to have that extra gift in my tool belt to where I can help with healing. It could be healing the world, healing animals, healing people. So I'm basically asking for them to continue to pass something else down to me.
Now I know why they had me ask that question. We'll get there, but there's
Okay.
something that came forward towards the end, and it has to do with that healing aspect. So yeah, so that's really cool. So if you could be anywhere in the world, where would you go and what would you do or learn? Anywhere.
I'm scanning the world. Okay. There's a place I've always wanted to go, is England, which intuitively I feel like it's not that far off actually. So I'm gonna say maybe within the next year, but I have never been. I want to go to England for the castles. It could be past life connected. I want to investigate a castle. Like that is on my to-do list. So see the castles. I want to do some of their tours. I hear they have a Jack the Ripper tour that is amazing, like a ghost walk. I'm like, to eat the food, to see the people. There's a connection there, and so I'm very curious to actually get there and be on the ground to see kind of how I feel and what I'm getting energetically. And also, I would love to visit Arthur Findlay and just walk the grounds and see what's going on. Arthur Findlay College, for those of you that don't know. So yeah, I'd say number one is England.
Yeah, I think you need to go and do a walkabout.
Ooh, I want to do it so bad. So bad.
You know, start with England and do that, and then go up Scotland, Ireland, because there's so much. And as a paranormal investigator, I mean, wow, like sky's the limit.
Yes.
You know, sky's, I got goosebumps all over. Like,
that's what I wanted to, like, yeah, I forgot wanted to mention Scotland. Like, oh gosh, like if I had the time. So, but like I said, the good thing is it feels like it's not that far off for me. So I'm like, okay, it's happening. It's very
if I'm hearing right, I feel like within the next two.
That's awesome.
So
I think
yeah.
so too.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. When you close your eyes at night, where do your thoughts take you at the end of the day?
I'm just thinking different things that I do. When I close my eyes, I immediately shut down the energy, because there are so many psychic mediums that are like, I hear voices, something's calling me, someone's touching me. And it doesn't happen for me because I have a process. So the first thing I do is shut down energetically and let my guides know what I need or what I do, protection, whatever that may be. It can be different. And then it depends. Sometimes I just take myself to, whether it's somewhere relaxing. There are two places that I dream of that I don't know where they are. So it might be from past. I'm very big on past lives. It could be another dimension. I don't know where it is, and I'll go there, and I just see myself sitting there, and then I'm off to asleep, and I don't remember anything else after that. So it's a fairly easy shutdown process. But this sounds really weird. I can't wait to find in 60 years when I transition. I can't wait to find out where these places are. That I do see in my intuition.
It feels like making memories, but in the astral, right?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Interesting. Where do they take you? Like when you wake and you open your eyes, what's the first, like, where does your mind or your heart take you?
Yeah, it just depends. When I wake up, I usually feel very good. Very relaxed. Usually in the early morning when I'm about to wake up is when I will get messages from my guides. It's not often. It's just a few times a year I'll get something, or it's minor or little things. But otherwise, I don't really go anywhere. I just realize, okay, cool. Thank God I'm alive. I'm here. What's for breakfast? Yeah, pretty simple.
And I'm supposed to mention to you something about a dream journal. I'm not exactly, I don't know what that's about, but
Okay.
when I was writing the questions down,
Okay.
they said, talk to her about a dream journal.
Okay.
Do
Okay, I
you,
can understand that. You know, it's I feel like definitely something I need, because yeah, I do get really vivid dreams. And then sometimes I just like, oh my God, that was weird. And I forget, or I'll jot it down in my phone, like in the notes, like, what did that mean? Or this happened. And like, I have to check my notes. But yeah, that makes sense. I should absolutely keep a journal because of my random
yeah,
dreams.
it's kind of cool. And then you can kind of keep track
Mhm.
of where you've been
Yep.
while your body was sleeping, where
Yeah.
where your soul has been.
I'm gonna start that tomorrow, actually. Yeah, I don't know what took me so long. I missed out on a lot of good dreams. Anyway.
Okay, and what is the one thing about you that people don't know that would surprise them?
I am a hardcore introvert.
Oh,
Hardcore. The reason I have to mention that is because, one, people will assume because of my career as a manager that I was a major, like, an extrovert. I was social, but no, it was just because I was trained to be that leader. So I know when to turn it off and when to turn it on. Otherwise, I love being by myself. I love reading. I hate parties. I don't like having to talk to large groups of people. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. And so a lot of people would not expect that. But also, if people saw that side of me, they would assume that I was self-centered or egotistical or stuck up. And I'm actually not. I'm very humble because I do this work only for spirit and not for anything else. And so, yeah, that they would be shocked to know that I say hardcore introvert, hardcore.
that's actually quite common in our industry.
Really? Okay.
Like us. Yeah, it's actually quite common. And you must have then been freaking out when you had that group of 80.
I wasn't gonna say it. Yes, I did. I was like, oh my God, oh my goodness, I didn't expect that. And then Lisa's like, calm down, you're good. And she usually, you're good. And then another woman, Tamarishka's like, you're fine. You're like, spirit will guide you. And like, I did it. So even if Lisa was not there, would have been great, but I was able to manage it. I don't think they knew that I was terrified. I was like, we're going to get through this, and I want them to have fun. But yeah, you are absolutely right. The worst for me, though, are parties, because I am shy. And sometimes I feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing, or I'm going to be socially awkward. Like right now, I'm totally fine. If I like someone, you can't get me to shut up. But if I'm in an awkward situation, I'm like, weird. And so that's something that I've improved on drastically, but it's still a big part of me that it's probably most likely going to be with me for the rest of my life.
Or not.
Maybe if I can get out of it. Yeah. It's better though. It's better than what it was. Oh gosh, 10 years ago, I was so awkward.
We changed. The older that you're young, but the older that we get, those sort of discomforts or hindrances sort of fall away, and they don't matter.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You get to be my age and you're like, what's interesting about shyness is that is typically misconstrued or misunderstood as arrogance.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Like my life story.
I always remember I do these soul chart readings, and one of the things with regards to the soul chart is there's this they list down these different types of major obstacles that people have, and it'll be that thing that's at the root of all your life lessons for this particular lifetime. And then arrogance is one of the major obstacles. And that's why I know about the shyness thing, because, looking it up, if you just look at it, oh, arrogance is my problem. Arrogance is not my problem. Arrogance is about shyness and coming out of my shell, then would be the problem. And that is, so it's interesting.
Yeah, it's always been I'm glad you asked that, because it's something where people have met me, or even within the last year or so, and they're like, oh, she's full of herself, or oh, I'm just like, no, I'm just quiet. I'm just like, no, talk to me. And then they'll talk to me. They're like, oh my God, you were so nice. I had no idea. I'm like, no, I'm genuinely, you know, I care about people. I'm very friendly. I'm not full of myself. So yeah.
I saw that a mile away, Tawney, and that's why when I was making my list of who do I want to really sit down with, who do I want to share this platform with, and put out there, you know, where people can understand and know you a little bit better. You were one of them, and I was like, oh yeah, she's good. Tawny's good. Yeah. What is the most intriguing and profound paranormal experience? One that makes you question, or one that makes you think?
Sorry for the pause. I am just scanning all the ones that I've done.
It's okay. You've done a lot, so it's okay.
The most intriguing, or one that stands. I wish I could share the screen with you so you could see the photo. So I would say this was in Montana State Prison. I went there about that was exactly 2 years ago, literally to the date, I think. And it's an old jail with a lot of history. So if you can look up Montana State Prison, it's a lot. And we did an area where the actual jail cells, where we had to sit in the jail cell for 45 minutes to see if we picked up any EVPs, any noises. And we didn't get a lot. And we were all packing up, the whole team, we were getting ready to go. And I'm walking out, and literally something said, take a picture down there. Bye. It's like, just take a picture. Probably my guide, I don't know. And so I look down, I see some bars, and they said, take a picture right down there. And I look, it's nothing there. So I take a picture, left, did not even look at it. Was on the plane coming home, something said, check your phone. I'm like, why is she wanting me to do this? So I checked. There's a pair of eyes at the back of the hallway just staring at me. And I made a TikTok about the eyes because I was like, what is this? And I don't know who it was, what it was. It's clearly something was there because they said, take the picture. There was nothing down there. So I have it. I even showed it to the students in my class last week, and they were like, yeah, those are straight up eyes staring at us in the dark. So yeah, that one was interesting because I do wonder, that was 2 years ago, and I kind of always like want to go back and do more investigation, wonder, was that an inmate? Was it something else? Was it something darker? Was it something that was hiding the whole time? Because we were in that space for a while and we didn't get anything except that photo. So that one stands out for me.
Doing everything that you do, what do you find that that grounds you the most?
There's a few things that ground me. One is where I live. I live alone. It's perfect. It's protected. It's literally at the Hollywood sign. It's just positive energy. And I think this apartment was almost like chosen for me. So that's one. Two, set my intention. Earlier we were talking about intentions. You have to, whether you do investigations or just spirituality in general, you have to have an intention. If you do not have an intention, you will be one of those mediums that are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in my life, because you haven't set an intention. You have to decide where you're going and where you want to, whether it's, I want to open my own business. I want to be on TV. I want to do a phone line with readings. Figure out what you want to do, and it will ground you, and your doors will start to open. And then I'd say the last one is kind of like what I said earlier, my family. If I'm just around them, because it really grounds me, because most of them don't believe in this. So if I'm like, I need to go there and bring myself out of the clouds, because they're just like, that's weird. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to an investigation. They'll just stare at me like, really? Yeah, those are the things that ground me.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you have your family. That's not everybody does. And it's so important that that you have, somebody that you can hang on to.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. All right. So there's something, here we go with that whole intuitive healing thing. So there's something about the aura reading, connecting that to a health related intuitive body scan. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
And I was finished with my questions, and they're like, nope, she needs to talk about this. And I do something similar, I want to know, because I think there's something with this for you.
Yeah.
It's almost a scan of the body, the aura. Of
Yeah.
course, you can't get rid of that. It's
Yeah.
there. And you see it more clearly than most. But to scan the body and pick up those things that you feel are out of place or wrong. Talk to me about that.
So yes, when I started doing the training, I did that. I did more the, okay, these auras mean something. Oh my gosh, So I did it kind of in steps. One, I learned about the auras and realized that this is helping me learn about the person and their traits. So I'll look at someone's aura. Now, what's interesting is now I don't see the auras physically. I see them in my third eye, which is, I kind of want to go back to as a kid. I'm like, I want to see them again. But I did it in steps. The first step was me saying, okay, so-and-so was, I don't know, purple. I feel like she's outgoing and loves books. I'm just making it up. I would get traits about them. Then the next steps, I did the aura and the health readings. And I found that it was pretty effective where I could see their body and then I would be, something would be highlighted where their arm might be a black color or the heart area might be, I don't know, just a bright red. And then I was able to be drawn to that area. I'm going to be honest with you, throughout my studies, I have never really been drawn to the medical aspect. However, it's where you brought that up because I want to say within the last month, I'm being redirected to health. And as of yesterday, a friend of mine said, there's something feels like it's stuck in my throat. I think it's a popcorn kernel. What is it? And immediately I did that scan and I said, you have a swollen nodule. I don't even know if that's a thing. What is a nodule? What is that? And she went to the doctor and they said she had strep throat. And so I even said out loud, okay, you guys redirecting me to health now with the auras. Interesting, because this is like the fourth time I was getting something correct with medical. So I'm sorry the answer is scattered. It's just because I don't really do medical very often. I utilize the aura in different ways throughout my teachings. But yeah, that's kind of, yeah, sorry if that was chopped up.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It totally makes sense. But it seems like what they did is they got you started with the aura, and
Yeah.
now you can really dive in. And look, we're just going to say this outright. We're not doctors. We don't diagnose. As an intuitive, you can see, feel, sense things that are off, or so I hear mostly. So
Oh, wow.
they'll tell me what, it's
Wow.
look at the liver, or look at this, or look
Okay.
at that, or they'll make me feel the pain where there is pain or discomfort, or where there's been a surgery, I'll feel that sort of thing. What they were saying is like, this is going to get kicked up a notch for you. And it's like one of those important things to add to,
Okay.
and commit to your list of stuff you got going on there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, it's been like the last few months. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, I don't do medical, but it's yeah. So absolutely, you're absolutely right. Interesting. Wow.
Now, listen, I don't read people without their permission. However, doing an interview, this is new to me. So this whole interview thing is new to me. Like, but when I sit down to ask the questions, because I don't want to just come up with the questions, I want spirit to tell me, what do they need? What needs to come out for them? What needs to come out for people who need to hear them? And it's one of the main reasons to do this, right? Is to, give a shout out to you and what you do, and to me and what I do, and what they want you to focus on and bring to the table. And that was a sneaky little peek at the end. They're like, no, oh, hold on. You are familiar with James Lipton and Inside the Actor Studio?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, one of my favorite interviewers. And one of the coolest things about James Lipton is that he picked up on a questionnaire from a French journalist by the name of Bernard Prévost. And he used to do this questionnaire on his own show called Apostrophes. And I think Prévost got it from Marcel Proust. So it's kind of just handed down. It's one of my favorite questionnaires. And so with your permission, I'd like to do that with you today.
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay. What is your favorite word?
Honestly, I always say that. I say it all the time.
What is your least favorite word?
no, like, no, I take that back. Like, you can't do something. I like can't, or no. Yeah.
What turns you on?
The beach, being by the ocean,
Mm,
or river, lake, things like that. Water. Mm.
Yeah. What turns you off?
A lot of people in a small space. Oh.
What sound or noise do you love?
Just think, ooh, water again, a creek, waterfall. Oh my gosh.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, barking dogs. Let me make it clear to everyone. I love dogs. I'm obsessed with dogs. I helped my sister raise 2 of them, but I hate it when they just bark. I hate it.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Yeah. And what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I think I'd be really good. Give me a second. You know what? I've heard this before, but I haven't been asked this in years. I think I would have been a really good comedian. Just because it's not like a joke. I just like with my friends, I'm really, really silly, and I can take something and make it really funny in a smart way. So I think I would have been, if I went that way, I would have been a really good comedian.
If heaven exists, what would you want to hear when you arrive at the pearly gates?
We are proud of you.
That's beautiful. Yay. Well, listen, I want to say thank you so much for sitting with me, and I have goosebumps everywhere. So we're sitting with spirit too. That's just their way of being present and showing up. Thank you for taking the time
Thank you.
to share yourself and your stories and what you're doing. Keep up the good work. You're doing great. Listen, I want to give you an opportunity. So Tawney is accessible, people, and especially if you're into paranormal investigations. Are you teaching anywhere anytime soon, or?
Yes, and I'm trying to think of the date. So I'm looking at my calendar right now because I am teaching. So there's a few things there. I'm going to be doing a paranormal course. And this is, if you guys want to go to wiseskies.com, wiseskiescollective.com. It's a friend of mine who it's a school where she has different teachers teaching different subjects, anything. Tarot, astrology, psychic, paranormal, whatever. And so I'll be teaching there on October 19th. I'll be doing a paranormal investigation for the psychic medium. So please come check that out. Also, feel free to follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of videos. I do a mixture of spooky videos or silly videos that involve paranormal. I always try to have it mixed with a paranormal twist. And if not, it's just me thirsting over people like Jason Momoa or Idris Elba. So sorry about that. And I love history too. So I do a lot of historical videos of celebrities of the past, like Marilyn Monroe, Hattie Mae Daniel, just a ton. There's a ton on there. So go follow me on TikTok at Intuitive Tawney, and feel free to follow me on Instagram at Intuitive Tawney as well.
Okay. And then your website is intuitivetawny.com.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So you're at your website, your Insta, your TikTok. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is Mediumship by Picasso. So my YouTube channel, it's new, but I'm really super appreciative of the people who have already subscribed. If you haven't, there's much more to come. So please subscribe and like it if you like it. If you don't, subscribe anyway. And just share whatever it is that's on here, so that people out and about can get messages that they need to hear. So I always say that you never know whatever comes out in a situation like this, or in a spirit message. It might not be for you, but it might be for your neighbor or that person you see at the grocery store who's having a hard day, or whatever. Anyway, share. All right. So you can find me on mediumshipbypicasso.com on my website. You can see me on Mediumship by Picasso on my Facebook page or this here YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.
Thank you.
Yeah.